Okay, welcome again to Local 770's general membership meeting of June 11th, 2024. This is the second general membership meeting of the year. We still got people outside getting their tacos and silk screening shirts and still doing a little bit of, socializing, but they'll be coming in fairly soon. So, we have today a whole lot of information. There's so much happening at Local 770 right now. So I'm Kathy Finn, the president. We also have Danny Garcia, the secretary treasurer, who you'll hear from in a little bit, as well as Mara Cruz Cesena, our organizing director, Matt O'Malley, research and collective bargaining director, Ed Gutierrez will be talking about cannabis. We have Jesus Ramos talking about Packing House. We have Heather Rutman's going to be talking about our communications. Ron Solano about Kaiser. And some of these reports are also going to have members as well. We're going to get a political and legislative update from Nam Lay. And I'm going to talk about the strategic planning process. So we have a lot of information to cover. So we're going to jump right in. Okay, now we can get going. And we on Zoom, there's over 100 folks who are also part of this meeting right now, as well as the folks who are here in person. We have other offices also joining by Zoom where people are in person in some other offices that we're all connected. So welcome to all the members of Local 770. We have interpretation on Zoom, we don't have an interpreter here. So buenas noches. Bienvenidos a Local 770, a la Junta General de junio 11, 2024. Y lo siento que tenemos interpretación in Zoom, pero no aquí. So I'm going to speak in English. I hope everybody can understand me. Okay, because that was my, that was my Spanish. That was as good as you get. Okay, so welcome again. I'm Kathy Finn, the president of Local 770. We're going to be hearing some brief reports about what's been going on at the local, but I do want to, before we start, I would like to dedicate this meeting to the memory of Reverend James Lawson, who passed away on Sunday. So for those of you who didn't know him or know of him, James Lawson was an iconic civil rights leader. He was actually a mentor in nonviolent resistance to both Dr. Martin Luther King and Congressman John Lewis, as well as countless others. He was a giant in the social justice movement and civil rights movements, and he brought the spirit of nonviolent resistance and the fight for justice to Los Angeles, and particularly to the LA labor movement. Reverend Lawson's work is a large part of the inspiration for the direction of Local 770's work that we're trying to move in and that we're going to be talking about today. He influenced the direction of our strike in 2003, 2004, as well as our 2019 and 2022 master food contract campaigns. And we share his vision for a just and equitable community, and it's in his spirit that we continue our fight. So for those reasons, I wanted to dedicate tonight's meeting to him. And if you don't know about him, there's been a lot of press about him because he died on Sunday. You can read and learn about him and the fight that we are doing. So we're going to jump right into reports from our directors and departments. And first is going to be Mara Cruz.
It's further back than I thought. All right, good afternoon, everybody, or good evening, actually. Maybe I should not tap. So good evening, everybody. My name is Mara Cruz Cesena. I am the organizing director here at Local 770. ¿Lo puedo traducir también aquí o por las personas que están aquí, no? So, me llamo Maricruz Cesena, lo voy a hacer rápido también. So, me llamo Maricruz Cesena, soy la directora de organizing de aquí de Local 770 y les vamos a dar un aviso, ¿no?, de lo que ha estado pasando. So, just very quickly, I wanted to share with you some of the stuff we've been working on in the organizing department. Last time we were together, I shared that coffee workers in Los Angeles had been organizing to form a union and to get a good contract with La Colombe Coffee Shop. I'm happy to report that after more than a year fighting to get a good contract, La Colombe coffee workers now have a contract, and we have union coffee in Los Angeles. La última vez que estuvimos juntos compartí que los trabajadores de La Colombe que trabajan en el café, sirven café, hacen café como Starbucks, pero un poquito mejor, acá estaban peleando para formar unión y para tener un contrato bueno, justo. Y me da gusto reportarles que después de más de un año, finalmente ellos tienen un contrato que les da ese derecho de pelear juntos. So, ya acaban de ganar. Lo otro que hemos estado haciendo es que hemos estado trabajando mucho con, con nuestra gente de Food for Less. So, hemos estado trabajando en la campaña de Food for Less para organizar y asegurarnos que los miembros de esta unión puedan pelear por un contrato justo. Tenemos trabajadoras de Food for Less aquí con nosotros atrás y las quiero reconocer a todos los trabajadores de Food for Less. Just to translate really quickly, so we've also on the organizing department have been working really closely with our internal membership, particularly our folks that work at Food for Less right now, who have been working really hard to organize and to make sure that they're bringing up their leaders to fight for a fair contract, and that's what they're doing just now. These folks took inspiration from the fights that were going on last summer, including the writers and the actors. We saw the hotel workers, we saw Teamsters and the UPS workers, people doing practice strikes and really showing corporations that they were ready to fight. This is the inspiration that Food for Less workers took, and they started organizing for their contract 13 months ago now, in May of 2023. And what you're seeing now is one of the biggest, toughest fights at Food for Less that we've had. Kroger hasn't been this what's a clean word that I can use, but this difficult to work with or to deal with to get a contract in decades, I would say. In my time with the International or now, like I haven't seen Kroger behave as ruthless as they have now. So le quiero dar mucho reconocimiento a los trabajadores de Food for Less que empezaron a pelear, empezaron esta campaña hace 13 meses. En mayo del año pasado empezaron a reunirse porque querían hacer las cosas diferente. Querían pelear ellos para agarrar una inspiración, ¿no?, de los hoteleros, de los Teamsters, todos los que estaban practicando y peleando, para que ellos también pudieran organizarse de una manera que pudieran poner una pelea buena, ¿no?, en contra de esta compañía. Y hemos visto este año que Kroger y Food for Less se están comportando de una manera que no habíamos visto. No tienen escrúpulos, se me hace que es la palabra que quiero decir, que ahorita no se están portando bien, están amenazando de todo, pero estos trabajadores están deteniendo la línea, como se dice, y están peleando en contra de eso. Esta semana están tomando voto para quizá ir a huelga. Así es que otra vez los trabajadores de Food for Less están en una campaña de sus vidas ahorita. So Food for Less workers this week are taking strike authorization votes because of how messed up this fight has been and how bad this fight has become, right? Like how much they need to demonstrate their power. So the goal is that on Monday, when these workers go back to the table, they're going to go back with a resounding vote to say that if we don't get a fair contract, these workers are willing to strike. That's how it's gotten. Así es que los trabajadores de Food for Less el lunes, cuando regresen a la mesa de negociaciones, van a regresar con la aseguranza de saber que sus compañeros ya dijeron que si no dan un contrato bueno, ellos están dispuestos a tomar una huelga. Así es que hay mucho trabajo que hacer y tenemos trabajo en el futuro, ¿no? Sigue Ralph's y Albertsons y los demás, ¿no? So we have a lot of work ahead of ourselves. And this campaign is setting the example for what we can do and what we're going to have to do with Ralph's and Albertsons as we move forward. So that's what's happening right now. There's a lot going on. Es lo que está pasando por ahorita. Hay mucho que está pasando. Están llegando ahorita los de Food for Less porque acaban de terminar su voto por ahora. Pero es todo por ahorita y los veo en unos 3 meses. Gracias. See you guys in 3 months.
And next, we're going to hear from Research and Collective Bargaining Director, Matt O'Malley.
Thanks, Kathy, and good evening, everybody. From one crisis bargaining to another, right, which is kind of all we do around here, it seems like sometimes. The last time we had a general membership meeting back in March, we were on the cusp of another work stoppage in the cannabis industry with an employer named Ease. which is the largest statewide delivery-only retail operator in the cannabis space in the state of California. We began organizing EASE back in the very beginning of 2022, and after 818 days of campaigning, on April 19th, our newest members at EASE overwhelmingly ratified their first contract. So as I mentioned, EASE is a statewide bargaining unit. It has approximately 600 people that work there. Our local was one of 4 locals that was working on ratifying this agreement. We worked together with Local 5 in the Bay Area, Local 135 in San Diego County, and also Local 324 down in Orange County. And as a result, this is now the largest cannabis bargaining unit in the country, in fact. So the contract immediately raises the mileage reimbursement rate for the workers by 6 cents a mile and includes a process or basically language that outlines a 120-day process for us to come together, do a fact finding, and arrive at a fair and equitable mileage reimbursement rate, as this was one of the largest and most contentious issues in the thing. Right before we started bargaining with EASE, the company had unilaterally cut everybody's mileage reimbursement. They were getting approximately 56 cents a mile, and the company just right across the board cut it down to 39 or 40 cents per mile, which is a tremendous amount of money in a context where people are driving their own cars to make their living, and with the price of gasoline in Southern California is oftentimes, well over $5 per gallon and close to $6 per gallon. So employers make very good organizers, right? Nothing will bring people together faster than just pulling the rug out from under their feet like this company did. In this contract, the drivers are going to see raises of up to $2.50 per hour, and depot staff will see raises of up to $3.50 an hour. The employer agreed to 8 paid holidays and 2 floating holidays. They agreed to backdate seniority to workers' original date of hire by stacks, and apply accrued vacation time accordingly based on months of service with the employer. They've agreed to pay $300 monthly towards the cost of health insurance for workers who average more than 30 hours a week. And then crucially, we did not reach a tentative agreement on this contract until the company agreed to language that provides a pathway for all newly opened EASE delivery operations in California to have a fair process to choose UFCW and enjoy the benefits and protections this new agreement affords. So now anytime this company opens a new delivery depot, they will have what's called a card check or labor peace. So they will be able to have a fair process to choose our union, and then once a majority of them choose them, they will be covered under this collective bargaining agreement. So by the time we bargain again with EASE, hopefully, the 600 people that we have now will be significantly more than that. So by ratifying the agreement on April 19th, we ensured that all future CBA negotiations with EASE will take place at the point in time during the calendar month is the strongest, right? Because April 20th is considered, it's like Christmas in the cannabis industry, right? It is literally like the most lucrative day of the year for them. And now that our contracts are going to be expiring on April 19th, we will not be bound by no strike, no lockout leverage in all future negotiations. So we'll be able to use that fear of a work stoppage on April 20th going forward in perpetuity to ensure that this becomes basically the standard bearer of contracts in the cannabis industry. So having said that, I'm going to segue over to our executive board member, Will Wicke, also from the cannabis industry, who's going to report on some of the other things that the cannabis division has going on. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Matt. Good evening, everyone. My name is Will Wicke, and I am a long-term union member serving as the cannabis representative on the executive board, as Matt said. I am pleased to be here to deliver tonight's Local 770 Cannabis Division Report. Our cannabis team continues to move forward with bringing more workers into the union, as well as working to ensure that all of our unionized shops are still strong. As part of this work, we are pleased to announce that the Cannabis Division will soon be welcoming 4 Special Projects Union representatives, or SPURs, to our team. We are excited to welcome our new Spurs later this month as the Cannabis Division Spur program continues to evolve and serve as a training ground for Local 770's members focused on building power for cannabis workers through organizing. Our new Spurs will be a critical part of our union's work for the remainder of 2024, especially as workers at several key companies prepare to enter contract negotiations this summer and fall. Local 770's cannabis members continue to make history. In fact, today, several of our cannabis stewards and activists joined with other cannabis worker leaders from across California for UFCW's very first cannabis-focused legislative lobby day in Sacramento. Their workers spent the day meeting with state lawmakers to talk about the importance of increasing worker and consumer protections under state law. Lobby Day is just another example of the many opportunities Local 770 cannabis members have to be involved in our union. From our newest members at Ease coming together to elect shop stewards, to Sweet Flower members prepared to hold their first joint labor management committee meeting later this month. Throughout Local 770's jurisdiction, our members are coming together to take ownership of their union and to build solidarity among cannabis workers. Cannabis members are encouraged to reach out to your shop steward or your union representatives to talk about ways for you and your coworkers to get involved and to get activated as we continue to grow our movement together. Thank you. And up next is Hilda to give the Packing House report.
Buenas noches, mi nombre es Hilda Morales Rivas, soy delegada sindical de Overheard Fans. Yo daré el informe de la división de empaques. El 3 de mayo del 2024 tuvimos nuestra reunión mensual del Comité de Conjunto de Gestión Laboral de Overheard Fans. El comité discutió cuestiones relacionadas con el reloj del tiempo, las velocidades de las líneas y los asuntos de nómina. Los miembros expresaron su preocupación sobre cómo los problemas sobre los relojes de tiempo imponen a los miembros una disciplina de la empresa y como las velocidades de las líneas pueden provocar lesiones. Está previsto que el comité se reunirá el mes que viene. El 4 de junio tuvimos nuestra reunión mensual del Comité de Conjunto de Gestión Laboral de Palace Ranch. El comité discutió el lenguaje de tiempos extras en el contrato de procedimientos de afilado del cuchillo y en el lugar de trabajo, y el respeto y la dignidad entre los compañeros y en el trabajo. También se ha hablado sobre el aumento de premios en beneficios médicos. La empresa sigue prometiendo con los miembros para resolver problemas de la planta. El 27 de abril, la Unión Latina, en colaboración con nuestras oficinas internacionales NOVA Legal, organizaron una clínica UCAN de la ciudadanía de clínica. Ayudó a 13 de nuestros miembros a cumplir la solicitud de ciudadanía sin costo alguno. Para ellos fueron 7 miembros de los empacadores de Overheard Fans y de la compañía Palace Ranch. También el 27 de abril del 2024, los miembros de Overheard recibieron la información sobre una acción diferida para trabajadores en conflictos laborales de un abogado de Nova Legal en nuestro centro de trabajadores de Ricardo y Casas. La acción diferida para trabajadores garantiza que los trabajadores inmigrantes puedan estar protegidos de las deportaciones y recibir autorizaciones de trabajo cuando denuncian la violaciones laborales. Los miembros de Overheard Fan recibieron la declaración de interés de la EEOS el 20 de mayo para solicitar una acción diferida basada a la investigación de una agencia laboral. Seguimos asistiendo a reuniones de salud y de seguridad en nuestras plantas y procedimientos Darling Baker con nuestros miembros de asignatura presente, pagados por el empleador. En la reunión de nuestros miembros brindan información sobre peligros existentes y potenciales en el lugar de trabajo. La empresa aplica los protocolos y procedimientos de seguridad, aborda cualquier inquietud o incidentes de seguridad que haya ocurrido. Este fue un informe de la División de Empacadoras y ahora le pido a Heather Run, quien está reportando el Departamento de Comunicaciones. Gracias. Y por último, quisiera decirle a nuestros compañeros de, ¿cómo se llama? Es que se van a ir a huelga.
¿De cuál?
De Food for
Oh,
Less,
de Food for Less.
que sí se puede.
All right, sorry, Heather. I'm just gonna summarize a little bit in English what Hilda said. My name is Jesus Ramos, part of the Packing House Division. So on May 3rd, we held our joint Labor Management Committee meeting at Overhill Farms. The committee discussed time clock issues, line speed, and payroll matters. Members voiced their concerns with how time clock issues set up members to company discipline and how the speed of the line can lead to injury. The committee is scheduled to meet again this month. On April 27, 2024, the United Latinos, in collaboration with our international office and Novo Legal, hosted a UCAN clinic. The UCAN helped 13 of our 770 members complete their citizenship application at no cost to them. 7 of which were Packing House members from Overhill Farms and Palisades Ranch. Also, on April 27, 2024, Overhill members received deferred action for workers and labor disputes information from a Novo legal attorney at our Ricardo Icaza Worker Center. Deferred action for workers ensures that immigrant workers can be protected from deportation and receive work authorization when speaking up on labor violations. Now, Overhill Farms members received the EEOC Statement of Interest on May 20th to request for deferred action based on labor agency investigation. We continue to attend health and safety meetings at our rendering plants, Darling and Baker Commodities, with our designated members present and paid by their employer. In the meetings, our members provide information about existing or potential hazards in the workplace. The companies explain safety protocols, procedures, and address any safety concerns over incidents that have occurred. That's the report. I'll give it over to Heather.
Thank you. Great report. Good evening, everybody. Buenas noches. My name is Heather Rutman. I'm the Communications Director for 770, and today I'm going to be talking to you about how we're strategically using social media to amplify our fight and how you all can help in that fight. So social media is really one of the best tools that we have at our disposal to sway public opinion to our side during a contract fight. Our new social media strategy is all about increasing awareness, amplifying members' stories, strengthening our narrative, and growing our engagement. And so how we measure success is in terms of reach, and what reach is how many people see our content. Engagement, that's likes, follows, shares, how many people are interacting with our content. Followers, self-explanatory, of course, and then views, video views. This is how many times our videos are played, and this is a really important metric that we're looking at because videos are definitely prioritized on social media algorithms, so you'll see our strategy is all about posting a lot more video. So how have we been doing since we've been implementing this new strategy? So here's a snapshot on what we're doing on each platform over the last couple of months. So as you can see, since we've started this new strategy, we've really been increasing all of our metrics in a huge way. And I have to hand it to, you know, our teammate, the communications team, Paula Smith especially is spearheading this new strategy, but we couldn't do it without all of the members, all of the organizers, all of the spurs, the reps who are sending us the content to post. Because we're not out there in the stores all the time. It's all of you all that are sending us this great content that's allowing us to achieve these numbers. TikTok is a new platform for us. How many people are on TikTok? How many people follow us on TikTok? Okay, at the end of this presentation, you'll see how you can follow us on TikTok. So it's a totally new platform for us, and we've grown like crazy over the past couple of months due to our Food for Less content, all the great content that's coming from the Food for Less campaign, the members. It's just been really amazing because the reaction from the public is overwhelmingly positive, and we always tag the company so they see anytime you're making a negative comment, or they see how many likes we're getting, they see how many, you know, what this incredible engagement is, and it really kind of helps. So in terms of followers, the industry standard for followers is usually 1% per month. So the fact that we've grown our audience by as much as 1,500% in some cases shows that people want to hear our story. They're really resonating with the story that we're telling, that all the members are out there telling. So here's just a few of our most popular posts. So you can see this is this one TikTok video that I'm talking about of a Food for Less delegation. This one video alone has nearly 500,000 views, 21,000 likes, okay? So that means what you're doing in the stores, right? So you're out there in the stores, maybe you're talking to an audience of one, maybe you have 20 people, but now we can put it on social media, and now you have an audience of 500,000 people, and 20,000 people are actually hearting that. So if you're not following us, you guys are really missing out. So this is how you can connect with us on social. Who has a phone that they can take out and scan this code? Because we need everybody to get into the conversation. You know, so we want you to follow us, but don't just follow us. You know, social media can also be like this digital union hall. So we want you to get in the conversation. Take out your phone, everybody. Scan this code, follow us on your I know everybody has a phone. I want to see everybody taking that phone out if you're not following us already. And again, follow us, but don't just follow us. So comment, like, share these posts. This really helps us get everybody's stories out. All right, thank you everybody. Gracias. Next, I'm going to bring up Victor from Kaiser.
Si en caso los que están aquí quieren oír la conferencia en español, pueden llamar a este número y pueden oír, si están hablando en inglés, pueden oírlo en español por el teléfono. ¿Okay?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Victor Orejel, Kaiser East LA Pharmacy, outpatient pharmacy technician. I'm going to be giving the Kaiser General Member Meeting report. So our Kaiser members, together with their brothers and sisters of the Alliance of Healthcare Unions in SoCal, signed over 20,000 letters demanding Kaiser to take the staffing crisis seriously by raising wages, providing more staff, and partnering with us. On Thursday, April 4th, union leaders delivered those letters to SoCal Kaiser Permanente leaders at Walnut Center in Pasadena. Continuing from the high momentous occasion of the Alliance Leadership Conference held last April, our members that attended have applied the skills they learned from the conference to begin to engage their coworkers. They learned about mapping and charting, leadership development, mobilizing, and building power. Since the powerful message from our president, Kathy Finn, gave, we are now on the go and ready to begin to mobilize. Since then, we had an executive committee labor management partnership meeting, which was by far the best management represented we have had on an LMP executive committee at any time in the last few years. The next meeting is scheduled for June 20th, and we will encourage the next agenda to focus on discussing some opinions for specific solutions and improving the partnership. Our very own Vice President Hector Chaidez from Kaiser Montebello Pharmacy is leading a national pharmacy job group that will be meeting quarterly. Active member engagement is what is making our movement stronger. We are looking forward to negotiations coming up next year and planning on how to prepare. Other members are stepping up in medical centers like Patty Rivas from Woodland Hills, becoming one of the quad chairs for the LMP Council in that medical center. In Kern County, there is active recruitment of new stewards, where there are 2 new stewards that attended their monthly steward meeting. In Chino Hills, at the regional lab, there are new stewards as well, welcoming steward in different shifts to represent members around the clock and in different departments. We're looking forward to welcoming a new spur into the Kaiser team and having our members become more engaged and prepared. Thank you, and this concludes the Kaiser report. And I'll be passing it over to Nam.
Good evening, everyone. Okay? Happens all the time. I talk loud, I'm sorry. My name is Nam Lay. I am the political director at Local 770. And tonight I want to talk to you about what's happening in November. Who's voting in November? Raise your hands. You're not voting? Okay, it's my job to change your minds. There's 145 days left until the election. And in California, we believe, because so many Democrats work and live here and are registered to vote, pretty good chance that Joe Biden will be nominated by California in terms of us voting for him. So with that said, if you live in California and you work in California, voting top down is a priority. We don't want our membership, your friends and family, just voting for president and then forgetting to vote down ticket. And depending where you live, you may have a congressional seat that's very important. And I'll try to break it down. Democrats right now do not have control of Congress. Republicans control the Congress. So it's very difficult for us to make real change, to change the laws, to impact working families. It's really difficult. The Republicans control the Congress. The Democrats control the Senate by 1 vote. So it's like this all the time. It's like constantly pulling each other. I don't know what's going to happen in the presidential election. I hope President Biden wins. But here in California, there are 7 congressional seats from Sacramento all the way down to Orange County and in Lancaster, Palmdale. Who knows where Lancaster, Palmdale is? Raise your hands. Santa Clarita, all right. Porter Ranch. Well, if we are to make a difference in this election, California needs to win 7 seats. Our local can't really help all 7 seats. We're just based in Los Angeles and the Central Coast. We can make a difference in Palmdale, Lancaster. There is 58,000 union members in that district. Of that 58,000, 3,100 are members of Local 770. So 3,100 of our sisters and brothers who work at a grocery store, drugstore, elsewhere, live in that district. We're asking every union, not just our union, to get out and talk to all 59,000 union members. We have 3,100. So it's my hope that as we get closer to August, we're going to be putting out more information about coming out to Santa Clarita, Palmdale, Lancaster, that we get volunteers to come out on weekends. We need to vote for George Whitesides. We'll fill you in later about that. The key thing is join us on weekends to Palmdale, Lancaster. Plenty of food, plenty of drinks. More importantly, it's going to be the weekend, not the weekday. It's critical for us to make a difference, and we're going to choose this election in Santa Clarita, Lancaster to make a difference. We're not going to be able to make a difference in Sacramento, Orange County, Riverside. We can do it here. What I want to talk about besides voting, we all want to vote, we want to encourage voting, but why do we vote for politicians? Why do we vote for elected officials that care about our union, our membership? Because it's their job to pass good laws, to vote for good laws, to make good changes. At the end of the day, change doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen by itself. We have to hold people accountable. That's what our union does. That's what the membership does. We raise up injustice. We raise up when there's a problem. We listen to our members when there's an issue. And one of the issues that we've been listening to for years of our membership is about scheduling. Many of our members for the longest of time, union, workplaces, and non-union have complained that their schedule changes week by week. They don't know when their schedule is. So in Los Angeles County, this year, we passed a new law where in LA County unincorporated, any retailer with 300 workers or more has to give 2 weeks notice when they change their schedule. So that's going to make a huge impact for those who have responsibilities, for childcare, for if you have multiple responsibilities, but more importantly, you have 2 weeks notice from your employer. If your employer changes your schedule and you agree to it, you get an extra hour pay that day. So if you work 8 hours that day, you get a 9th hour of pay. That's the way the employer is going to compensate the workers. Now you may say, why LA County? Well, LA City passed it last year. So our local and our coalition has been working this for many years. We did LA City first. We did LA County this year. The hope is one day statewide that every jurisdiction has 2 weeks advance notice for retail workers to have better control of your lives, better control of your schedule. This is what our members ask for. This is going to also help non-union members. Those who are not in the union will see the benefit of what we fight for. We don't just fight for union workers, we fight for all retail workers and healthcare workers and cannabis workers. So it doesn't happen overnight. I just want to report back that we're making changes in LA County. We need your help to expand it, but this is one small example of why electing good officials, elected officials, holds them accountable to pass good new laws. And I'll end with a quick report from Sacramento. We have a lot of bills this year that we're focused on. There's one bill in particular that I think that every worker, union worker cares about, is what happens when you go on strike. Well, we're asking California to make it mandatory that if you go on strike, you get unemployment benefits. Last year we passed the bill. It got to the governor's desk. It wasn't signed. We're introducing it again this year. The bottom line, if workers go on strike, they should know that there's unemployment benefits that could assist them. It also reminds the employer that the workers not only ready to go on strike, there's benefits to help them. So I want to end with that. It's not over yet. It's going to take the rest of the year to get this law hopefully passed. We'll keep you updated. We need you engaged, and thank you for all your support. Have a good evening. Thank you. And I will turn this over to Cynthia to give the field report.
Everybody's alive? Sounds good. Hi guys, I'm Cynthia Ayala. I'm on the special program for the Spurs. They pulled me out from Rite Aid. I've been a member for about 15 years. So I'm gonna give the CVS campaign today, okay? We continue to engage our CVS members in regards to the campaign and start of negotiations. Here's a little bit of what happened on recently. As a part of the field campaign, stewards and reps are currently collecting petitions that reflect members to provide for their families and better serve their communities. On our first day of negotiations, they took place on Thursday, May 23rd at the local 324 with 7 other locals as well. Our CVS members are being represented at the table by a member-led bargaining committee and local leaders. At our first day of negotiations, our bargaining committee and local leaders presented CVS with both non-economic and economical proposals as well. Unfortunately, CVS only presented a non-economic proposal and wasn't prepared to present an economic proposal. A webinar was put on Tuesday, May 28. The purpose was to give a campaign and negotiation update to hear back from members. And also, we ask you guys to join us on Saturday, June 22nd at CVS 9738 in Whittier Boulevard in Whittier, California. And stand close and stand together and rally with members and take an action and for demand for respect at the table. We have about 8 more scheduled dates of negotiations. We will also continue to escalate our campaign and put pressure on CVS and give members the contract that they truly deserve. Thank you for your time. Continue with the numbers right now.
Hello, everybody. Hello. My name is Maisha. I am currently a union member. I'm also an employee of Rouse for 29 years. So I'm also on the Spur program on the e-board. So this, I'm gonna tell you off the back, is a little nerve-wracking. I'm not afraid to speak to people, but just have all these eyes looking at me. But thank you for being out. So I'm here today to do the our CVS organized active campaign report. We go out to these CVSs who are union but have non-pharmacists, non-union pharmacists, and we're trying to get them to join. So we're going to tell you about all the progress that we're making. You know, it is very difficult to go out to somebody, as even with the Food for Less campaign, to get people to stand up for their rights. It's really hard to get people who don't know what the union is about, who don't understand what the union can support you with, what we can do. It's really hard going out. So it's a little nerve-wracking, but it's hard, it's fun, it's intriguing. I wouldn't change it for the world, okay? So in our CVSs that are non-union pharmacists that have non-union pharmacists in our in our union shop, excuse me, we're gonna start with, we have people who start signing these cards, our union. We need our union authorization cards to be signed by our non-pharmacists to join their fellow co-workers who are also that they're working around who are union. So why not be in support of other people who are union? They see what they get and they want to join. We have 30% in one store that have signed union authorization cards. We have 6 stores that have 50% that have signed union authorization cards. We have 1 store that have 90% signed authorization cards, and 1 store completely on board with 100% authorization cards. And 2 leads that we're going to go through, they're going to start their campaign also. So it's always something important to make sure that we get the people on board. This is the time. It's never anything wrong with asking questions and, you know, seeing how it is. Because when people don't understand what we do, they want to find out. Also, we have CVSs that are wall-to-wall. And these are wall-to-wall CVSs that are where the whole shop, the whole store is non-union. Okay, so we have 2 active campaigns going on right now. So we're talking to the front of the store, the pharmacies, the pharmacists. We're talking to everybody. We're going in, we're, you know, seeing how it's going, creeping, you know, checking people out, seeing how people feel about joining the union. And, you know, that's a little fun to do, you know, because you kind of like surveilling people, you know, watching people. Kind of like how you're watching me now. So right now we have 2 campaigns going on at our CVS 4019. We have out of 32 members that are there, or workers that are there, we have 35% union authorization cards that have been signed. Ooh. Okay. And our other store, CVS 10857, we have out of 12 members, we have 80% that have signed union authorization cards. Ooh. So that gives us a total of 13 active, you know, campaigns going on. Ooh. With our CVS. So it's a little, it's going, it's being positive. It's a little, you know, taunting, like, you know, are they going to do it? Because it's constant checking up on people, you know, getting with people. You got people who are good for it today and then, well, I heard this tomorrow. But we're making it. So thank you. And now Danny.
Thank you, Maisha and Cynthia, for the field report on the drug campaigns. That was for CVS. And I'm just going to finish up with Rite Aid. So with Rite Aid, we're also getting ready to start to negotiate with Rite Aid. The contract will be expiring in July. So this Thursday, we're going to have our bargaining committee's training, where we'll have our front store members, our clerks, our supervisors, and then our techs, but we'll also be joined by our pharmacists. And the goal here is to, you know, train what to expect in the role that they play when it comes to being at the bargaining table, but also to go over the proposals. Our proposals come together from surveys. A lot of you, whether it's Food for Less or other companies, you've done a survey before your contract expires so we can be able to hear back from the worker, right? What's important to you. We always know it's wages, but sometimes it's safety at your work, or it could be your medical, or it could be just having better staffing or better hours. So we'll be going over that with our Riley Bargaining Committee this week. Also wanted to report, many of you have heard that Riley is going through a bankruptcy. So over the last several months, they've been trying to go through the bankruptcy courts. And just recently, they supplied the bankruptcy courts with an amended reorganization plan, and they're trying to get it through. What they're doing is working with their creditors, working with different folks to make sure that they come to an agreement. And so the court is going to review it and hopefully sign off on it. This will take place next week or at the end of June, June 27th, June 28th. They have in their plan, they're going to honor all contracts. They're going to honor paying any dues that they have to pull out and pay on behalf of the members. They're honoring to pay any medical or grievance settlements. So that's really positive. They've been able to secure $75 million to help with their operations. So again, it looks like they're doing the right thing, trying to do the best to come out of the bankruptcy and be able to still operate. There is one hurdle. There is a company, Med Impact, that kind of deals with the pharmaceutical side of it that still has not been cleared, but they hope to get through it over the next couple of weeks or months. But even if this plan is approved, keep in mind, it could take weeks to months to implement it. So I just wanted to share that with you. And now I'll pass it over to Kathy Finn for the President's report.
Hi, I'm back. Okay, so we're going to try to get through, because I know we are getting close to 7 o'clock. I'm going to try to get through quickly the rest of the business. So first, there's a couple of things that I want to talk about, and the first one is our a master food campaign update. So next year in March, our Ralph's, Albertsons, which covers Vons and Pavilions as well, and Gelson's and Super A and Stater Brothers, our big food contracts are going to be expiring in March. So we have created a plan to also start that campaign. So while we're working on Food for Less and CVS and Rite Aid, and we have several packing house contracts expiring and cannabis contracts expiring and organizing going on, we also are going to be starting our campaign with our Ralph's, Vons, and Albertsons members. So in July, we are going to be having some leader meetings where we are going to bring the leaders together, new leaders or leaders that we have been leaders in those stores since the 2022 campaign and have remained leaders, as well as recruiting new leaders to try to make sure we have a leader in every store. And then in August, on August 27th, we're going to have a stewards conference with those leaders and stewards from the grocery stores come together to start planning our contract campaign. And sometime after that, September, October period, we'll be surveying and beginning to engage all the members and planning for that campaign so we can be ready to enter bargaining by December or January time period. And then the last thing I want to report about is the strategic plan. So I became president, a year and a half ago, and my number one goal at that time was to make Local 770 the best possible union that it could be. And to me, that means a powerful union where the members' voices are central. And to get there, I wanted to understand where the members want to be in the next 5 years and then figure out the plan to get there. And that's what a strategic plan is. And so we had been working on this strategic plan, and I want to now be able to present it, what we've come up with. So the process of creating a strategic plan started in October of 2022 when Secretary Treasurer Danny Garcia and I were first appointed. We held listening sessions with staff, with the executive board, and most importantly, with our rank and file membership in order to figure out the most strategic way to build a member-powered union. Who was at, oh, what? Who was at the, who was at a listening session? How many people went to one of those listening sessions last year? Yeah, who got to talk about what was important to them. So this is a, and this is an ongoing process. It's not up there? Oh, now it is. Okay. Phew. Okay. So it's still an ongoing process, and I'm really excited to be able to share with you tonight the work that we've done so far. And obviously, when I say it's an ongoing process, there's also the implementation. So we've kind of come up with the plan, but we're working hard on implementing that plan. It's not always easy to make change. So, but the work is really built on the foundation of what the rank and file members want and what they said at those listening sessions. And it was like those meetings that really inspired this plan. And, you know, with the solidarity and strength and, you know, passion and ideas that came from those members. So what we heard during those sessions about what was most important to you was to build power through building community. And one of the reasons we had this, we're having meetings back in person and we're having food and some fun activities is to try to bring people together, because that's what community is all about. And also to focus on getting the best possible contracts. Contracts that would provide better work-life balance. That was really the number one thing that people said they wanted, was a better work-life balance, not to spend so many hours at work and then still not be able to make ends meet. So with better wages, they want more hours to be able to, you know, make ends meet, safety and security, and best-in-class benefits in order to take care of ourselves and our families. So tonight, I'm happy to present the plan that we built together with the ideas that came from the rank and file, and it outlines our mission, our vision, our priorities, and our values that are going to get us where we want to go. So first, we have, so like I said, we have our mission, our vision, our priorities, and values, and our mission is really what we do. So we're nearly 30,000 members strong, fighting for justice in our workplaces and our communities. We don't back down, we get ahead, we got this. And then our vision. Our vision is where we're going. So this is what we're trying to build. So we're not, I'm not saying that we're already there. These are our goals. This is where we're trying to get to. So our vision is to build a powerful collective of workers standing together to create transformational change in our workplaces and our communities. And then finally, our priorities. And we have 3 priorities, which are member power, organizing, and partnership. So member power means that we strive to build power in our workplaces and our communities by fostering a member-driven grassroots culture. So where your voices are the most important. And that thrives on collective action. And the key to this is having each other's back at work, on a strike line, at City Hall, or in front of the media. When we stick together and hold the line, there's nothing we can't accomplish together. Who believes that? We stick together, we can accomplish anything. Woo! You in? Okay. And then organizing. We are part of a growing movement of workers who recognize the power of collective action through union membership. We must support workers who want a union so they can have the opportunity to make that a reality. And when we grow our union, we increase our power in our workplaces and in our communities so we can all live better. So the more union members we have in our union and the more density we have in our industries, the better contracts we can achieve. Folks agree with that one too? Okay, that's our other priority. And finally, partnership. Workers do better when we partner with those in our communities who share our values. Through these strategic partnerships, and these are partnerships with like community groups and others that we work with, and through these strategic partnerships, we can amplify our fight for justice in our workplaces, our communities, in our state, and in our country. So who agrees with that one? We have to partner with community groups that share our values. Woo. Okay. And finally, what are our values? So we have 5 key values. We have a lot of values, but we have 5 key values that I want to share. And our values are who we are and what we stand for. So they are member power. We've talked about member power a lot because that's also one of our priorities. But we know solidarity and collective action are key to getting a seat at the table where decisions are made. And we are laser focused on creating the knowledge, the space, and the opportunities for members to participate and advocate for themselves. So part of what we do is to try to provide the resources and the training to create power for the members, right? It's not about the union. I mean, the members are the union, and so we have to create powerful members, right? And then justice. We are committed to anti-racism and taking action to oppose systemic inequalities and restructure our society and economy to be equitable for everyone. We will work to create avenues for accessing wealth and power to improve our lives. And this obviously is a work in progress, and something that we strive for, and we have to continue to assess ourselves and where we are today in order to be able to be critical of ourselves and move forward. Community. We know our workplaces and our lives exist in a larger community. We will partner with others who share our commitment to addressing inequities and building power for working people, our families, and our communities. Organizing, we already mentioned, when we increase the number of members in our industries, we grow our power to improve wages, benefits, and working conditions. We must invest in organizing more workers and workplaces in our core industries. And then finally, integrity, which is about honesty and transparency. We must hold ourselves to the highest standards of integrity in everything we do and hold our fellow workers and our employers and those in power to that same standard. So those are our values. And now we have a video of some members about how these values, what these values mean to them. So we've had some members have the opportunity to speak about our strategic plan and the values there. So we're going to share that video.
Honestly, member power for me is our solidarity with our union, with our staff members, front end, pharmacy, everybody coming together and unifying for this new union contract.
I'm here to show solidarity, which to me means that, like the golden rule, you treat others as you want to be treated.
Many hands make light work. When everyone works together, when everyone is together in solidarity, nothing can stop us.
Justice is like making sure that everybody has an equal opportunity, that nobody is being taken advantage, that everybody has a voice to be able, and their rights are being respected.
With justice and honesty and character, we could win any fight.
Que los den buenos beneficios a los trabajadores de Food 4 Less, igual al BON y igual al ROL.
We can't rise as a community unless we all work as a community.
We actually talk about what the problems are in our community, and we help each other with any of the problems that we have going on.
Looking around right now, there's so many people here supporting the same causes, and that's where I can see cannabis and UFCW really coming together on the community and bringing back that aspect that we've lost.
I think of all the people in my community that are struggling every day, and I think of the importance to keep us together and to continue to build power.
So community is everything. If we don't have a good community, we do not have anything.
Organizing means standing together with other people.
Organizing is important to me because it is how we build power within 770. And how we increase that power is getting new workers to join.
Integrity means to me is accuracy, being honest with a person.
Integrity is everywhere, and it starts in your family, it starts in your home, it starts with your mom and dad, and then it's dwindled down to the children. And I take that to work as well. When I get there, I just feel integrity is one of the utmost important things in the world today.
Okay. Okay, so we have a little bit of business to take care of, then we're going to go to questions and answers on Zoom. If you have a question, you can enter it in the Q&A box on Zoom, and they're going to be handing me the questions that they are. We also are going to do a Minority Coalition report, and Kenya is going to give it.
Hello, can y'all hear me? Yes. Okay. Good evening. My name is Kenya. I'm the official communications director and recorder for Local 770's Minority Coalition. So, in March, there was a UFCW International Minority Coalition webinar where we had a discussion on the cost of bias in healthcare and public health policy. In April, we hosted a game night at the LA office for union members, family, and friends that feature numerous games, raffle prizes, painting, music, and more. In May, some staff and members attended the Coalition of Black Trade Unionists 53rd International Convention in Houston, Texas. We're also a part of the CBTU Under 40 Leaders Committee, where we took organizing workshops to help organize young Black, Indigenous, and marginalized working people. Also, we helped raise money for the Houston Food Bank Fund Drive and the Under 40 Leaders Raffle. Last but not least, our Minority Coalition President, Sam Christian, also won an award for Rising Star for always fighting for racial and social justice within the labor movement and society. As we continue to develop a unified voice, promote diversity and inclusion within the labor movement, our plans moving forward for the next 6 months are to start planning for our second annual health fair coming up this September, host another game night, attend actions, and have numerous conversations with people around voting. We also have the Minority Coalition International Recognition Awards Gala in Washington, D.C. in November. For more updates, follow us on Instagram and TikTok at UFCW770.mc. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Kenya. Oh, yeah, I know, I'm shorter than Kenya, so we got to change the thing. Okay, so now we're going to do the business real quick, and then we'll get to questions. So the first order of business is approval of the minutes of the last meeting, which was the meeting for March. The meetings now, we are recording them and posting them on Zoom rather than typing out minutes. And as has been the practice, I would request a motion to approve the waiving of the reading or listening of the minutes, or we'd have to listen to the whole last meeting for the March 12th general membership meeting and approve all actions therein. So moved. Is there a second? Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes of the last meeting. Are there any comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say nay. Okay. The next is the approval of the trustees report, which Danny is going to read.
Good. Okay. Trustees report February 1st, 2024 through February 29th, 2024. So beginning balance January 1st, 2024, 19,028,964. Revenue and expense, subtotal revenue, 3,710,522. Expenses, subtotal, 4,049,564. Reimbursement due from the trust fund, 355,080. Income, 16,038. Ending balance as of February 29, 2024, 19,045,002. Cash activities, cash balance as of January 1st, 2024, 915,079. Cash receipts subtotal, 5,326,328. Cash disbursement subtotal, 5,306,440 for a cash balance as of February 29, 2024, 934,968. Balance sheet assets, total assets, 22,575,141. Liabilities, 3,530,139. Fund balance as of February 29, 2024, 19,045,002.
Okay. Is there a motion to accept? It's been moved. Is there a second? Okay, it's been moved and seconded to accept the trustees' report. Are there any comments or questions? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed say nay. Okay, next we're going to have the investment transactions.
Okay, investment transaction. Fair market value as of March 31st, 2024. Total 14,257,578. Interest and dividend income total 24,577. Sales and principal pay downs, realized gain 57,478 for a total of 615,455. Purchases total 263,887.
Okay, is there a motion to accept the investment transactions? Is there a second? Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the investment transactions. Are there any comments or questions? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed say nay. Okay, and then finally, the membership report, which is just an FYI, doesn't need approval.
Right, and I'll go through it real quick. For the month of April, our food division, 18,808. That's a plus 42. Our drug division, 4,473. We're down 111 members. General sales broke even. Our professional, 1,526. That's a gain of 12 members. Barber and beauty broke even. Our meat cutters, 1,632. We're down 8. Meat packer, 450. Down 10. Our cannabis, 422. We're down 12. Total, 27,327. Currently, there are 1,078 members on withdrawal or on due to LOA. And I'll pass it back to Kathy.
Okay. All right, so that's all the business, and so now I'm getting to questions and answers. So these are questions that have been submitted either in advance of the meeting or they were submitted on Zoom. So question number 1 from Adriana Ruiz, who is in the HP. Oh, Adriana Ruiz is here, says you're in the HP office. That's where we are. Will Rite Aid renew the contract? Can we get more money? Cost of living is too expensive. So yes, we are going to go into negotiations with Rite Aid, and we have proposals to get wage increases. Rite Aid, as Danny reported earlier, should be getting out of bankruptcy in the next month or so, and I'm sure the negotiations will be difficult, and so getting members involved and organized is going to be really important. And I know the wage rates in the Rite Aid contract are super low, so we do need to get together and work. Was that an earthquake? What? No. Okay. I felt like an earthquake. Okay, we're all okay here. We're all alive. Okay, so yes, the goal of the Rite Aid negotiations would be to definitely get more money and increase wages, but we need to get involved members. That's how we do it. Okay, next is from Roxana Rosales, who is in person in Santa Clarita. Hi, Roxana in Santa Clarita. Our benefits during strike, how would that affect us? So I think maybe that's a question about the food for less, which we are taking strike votes, as was reported earlier. When union members, at least union members that belong to Local 770, go on strike, there is a strike benefit. So everyone, part of the dues money that everyone pays goes into a benefit fund. So when people do go on strike, there are benefits available. As we've mentioned, those benefits are set by the Local 770 Executive Board, which will be meeting soon to approve, what it's going to be for the Food for Less contract. I will tell you the discussions with the other locals have been that the benefits would be, and I'm just saying what the other locals have been discussing, $100 for a utility clerk, $100 per day for a utility clerk, or $130 per day for other employees. We also have other benefits during a strike. Well, when you got here, you could see over there's a whole bunch of boxes of food. We have a food bank, so people get food boxes during a strike, as well as we have a hardship fund for anybody who's experiencing hardship. And your health benefits, I know a lot of people have that question about what happens to their health benefits during a strike, depending on where you work, but I will answer the question with respect to Food for Less, because I think that's folks who are asking right now, which is that the hours that you work in May and June give you benefit coverage for July and August. So if, for example, we went on strike in July, as long as you worked the required number of hours in May and June, you would have benefit coverage in July and August. And then when you're talking about September benefits are based on July hours. So one of the things that we've been talking about is if we go on strike with Food for Less, it most likely will be an unfair labor practice strike. That's the kind of strike that we're voting on this week, which is a strike to protest illegal activity of the company, which Food for Less is engaged in a bunch of illegal activity. So in that kind of a strike, you can have, you can strike one store for some period of time, and then if there's other illegal activity at another store, you can strike another store. So you don't have to necessarily have a big, long strike like in the 2003-2004 strike. So that is the answer to Roxana's question, I hope. Then we have a question from John Jordan in the Camarillo office, and he says, my coworkers and I at 09844, I don't know what company that is, have a concern about being the only store open on Christmas. We think, it's CVS. We think CVS stores should alternate and allow other stores to open. We don't think it's fair to only open this one. That is a very, I agree with you, and interestingly enough, we do have a proposal that we are fighting for in our CVS negotiations, that work on Christmas should be completely voluntary, and if there are no volunteers to work in a particular store, that the company would have to close the store, because, if nobody wants to volunteer to work on Christmas, then nobody should have to work on Christmas. That's the proposal we're making. So get involved in the contract campaign, John, because that's one of the things we're fighting for. Oh, John Jordan again. Same guy. Okay, hey, John, again in Camarillo office. Hi. Is my CVS store allowed to tell me I am not able to talk to my union rep while on the clock? No, I would say your CVS store manager is not allowed to tell you that, as long as you are working while you're on the clock and the conversation is not disrupting your work in any way. As long as you're allowed to talk to somebody else about something else while you're working, you can talk to your union rep also while you're working, as long as it's not disrupting your work. And then we have Kathleen Scott. Oh, hi, Kathleen. Kathleen's on Zoom. Hi there. And Kathleen says, I'm very excited about the leader meetings, would like to know when the steward monthly meetings will restart. As we head into negotiations, stewards need to be prepared, informed, and uplifted. Also, what's up with the lack of COL, I guess that's cost of living raises for union workers, primary health benefits, retirement staff? Would like to see my union lift everyone. Okay, great questions, Kathleen. Yes, so we are, like I said, we will have in July, we'll have area leader meetings. So those are steward meetings, and we'll have them in different areas. So we'll have some up north. We'll have one here in this office. We'll have an LA office. We'll have one in Santa Barbara. So we're going to have them all around, getting people together in person. And then in August, we'll have the steward conference where we'll get all the stewards together in one location. And then from there, we will continue to have meetings. So I agree with you. We need to have the monthly meetings as we head into negotiations. So I think they'll be restarting in July. You know, I will say on cost of living raises, for many years, up until about 2022, there wasn't a lot of inflation for probably a 10 or 15 year period. Like cost of living was only going up about 2%. So most unions were not negotiating cost of living increases at that time because, you know, the cost of living wasn't going up so fast. Inflation was kind of muted for a long period of time. And then because of COVID, there was a huge spike in inflation. And I will say most contracts then didn't have cost of living adjustment in it. So now people are sort of playing catch up. So the contracts we've negotiated since that time have had much more generous increases. So as we go into negotiations now, we're obviously trying to catch up. We do have proposals for cost of living increases in the contracts that we're working on right now. So in the Food for Less negotiations, we have been proposing a cost of living increase. In the CVS, in the Rite Aid, we are proposing cost of living increases. So it's a very good question, Kathleen. And by cost of living increase, we mean that if inflation goes up, like in 2002, it went up to 9%. So if inflation goes up to 9%, you would automatically get an increase of 9% to keep pace with inflation. So we are trying to get those into our contracts now. So that's a good question, Kathleen. Thank you.
That's all.
That's all the questions. Okay, okay. We have a couple of remarks for the good and welfare. So we sort of already talked about this. Food for Less is voting throughout this week. Check our website and social media channels for updates and voting locations. Oh, one other thing that's not on here. Does anybody remember? So something was reported about in this meeting in the CVS report. Something's happening in Whittier on the 22nd of June. Who remembers what it is? Does anybody know? What's happening on the 22nd of June in Whittier? CVS rally. So we're having a big CVS rally for our CVS contract at the CVS in Whittier on June 22nd at 11 o'clock. Is that 11 o'clock? At 11 o'clock. So be there. And then the office is closed on June 19th for the Juneteenth holiday. And who wants to talk about what's the Juneteenth? What's Juneteenth for? Who knows what happened on Juneteenth? Does anybody know? I mean, I know some people in here know what Juneteenth is. So Juneteenth is the day that after the Civil War was over and after, you know, Abraham Lincoln had the Emancipation Proclamation and freed the slaves, communication, people didn't have cell phones then, so communication wasn't that great. And so in Texas, even though Abraham Lincoln had declared slavery to be ended, in Texas, because it was far away and people didn't know, the slaveholders continued to keep the slaves in bondage working, you know, as they had for hundreds of years. And finally, Juneteenth is the day that word got to Texas that all slaves were free, and finally the last remaining slaves were freed. This is one to check. Is my explanation okay? Yeah? Okay. So that's what Juneteenth is about. So it is about emancipation and freedom for Black people in the United States. So it's an important day, and we will be celebrating it, and the office will be closed so people can celebrate with their families. And that's all the business for today. I'm so glad we had so many people here. And who liked the party in the parking lot to start out? Woo! Okay, so we'll be doing that. We'll be doing that more often. So hopefully we'll get more people to come in person to the meetings. And thank you all for being here. And thank you all on Zoom. We had a great turnout on Zoom also. So. Woo!